We are going to clone stamp some of this video. We're also going to freeze frame again, and we are going to do a little more of drawing on the layer of the footage. Excuse me. So, if you have the file of your person walking, your walk cycle, use this video. If not, just OBS another video of somebody walking or dancing or doing something in a screen. You want their whole body. We're also in this video going to do a mask with the pen tool. So what I'm going to do is go to the part of the video that this has already happened, and I'm gonna wait to get to this house right here. Now what I'm gonna do is duplicate this video. Also, if you're using a project with pre-composed layers and other layers and stuff and you don't have a video file, the video file right here is this AVI file. If you don't have that, then what we're doing is not going to work. So you have to use a video file in order to accomplish this. So make sure you're using a video file. And if you have this project and you don't know how to export it so you can use it as a video file, you just go to File, Export, Add to Render Queue. Click on this text right here. This will enable you to decide where you're going to save it and what you're going to name it as. And then just click render when you're done, and it will take about 10-15 seconds and it'll render to wherever you told it. Then you can import it and use that. So onward. What we're going to do right here is freeze frame this guy. So I'm going to Control D this video here, and I'm going to split this layer right here at Control Shift D. And now I'm going to go to Layer, Time, and freeze frame this. So now this guy is stuck. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is go inside of this freeze frame right here, and I'm going to duplicate this again. No, I'm not. I'm going to go inside of this by double clicking. Now I am completely inside of this, and if you need to move around to figure out where you're at so you can find the person in the walk cycle, just press down the mouse wheel button on the screen and it'll drag it around, or you can use this hand right here. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to duplicate this layer by pressing Control D. And I'm going to now make sure that you're still inside of this layer. I'm going to clone stamp this guy out. Very similar, actually it's the same exact thing that we did in Photoshop. The tool is right here, it's Control B. And just like in Photoshop, you hold Alt to select a target area, and then you just start painting. And you can make your brush bigger by going here to this paint option and clicking on this right here and changing the diameter of the brush. So I'm using something a little bigger, and the hardness is right here. This will change the edge of the brush. Alright. So now I'm just going to set a target area for the roof right here, and I'm going to paint it over this guy's head. And doing it down here now. Being very careful of where I'm at and what I'm doing. Okay, this is going to take a sec. I'm trying to get this as straight as I can. Now I'm going to move down here, do the same thing. Trying to get this as straight as I can. It's a little difficult. Just taking my time. I guess I'm not too worried about getting it perfect. looks pretty bad, but I'm just going to do the best I can and get this looking at least a little decent, I guess. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but I want you to try to do the best you can here. This part's pretty easy. And this should be pretty easy too. Alright, so he's out of this scene now. So that right here, I'm going to click on what we just did. Press enter and name it clone stamp. Now I'm going to go to this layer right here and I'm going to call this mask. This is the copy that we made. So I'm going to double click this one. This guy is still inside of this copy that we made and it's still freeze framed. So what I'm going to do to this guy right here is use the pen tool. So that is this tool right here. It's also G on the keyboard. And what I'm going to do is just go around him like you would in Photoshop to make a selection. So I'm taking my time here, and I'm really going to make sure I get a good selection of this guy. Going around, all the way around, and what you want to make sure you do in the end is go back to that very first point that you made. And again, you can press the mouse wheel down. It's easiest if you zoom out and zoom in, depending on where you're at. If you're in an intricate area like I am right now, I'm zooming in with the mouse wheel. And here I'm going to get ready to go right back out. Just use the mouse wheel and drag. I guess I don't need to go back out right now. Trying to do this rather quickly while still maintaining a degree of consistency around this guy. Okay, so what that did was put a mask on this gentleman. Just like in Photoshop, it makes sure that everything else on this guy is hidden behind the mask. So now I'm going to get out of this layer and I'm going to go to the main stage here and I'm going to get out of the pen tool using V. And now we have a guy. If we turn this layer off and select this layer right here, this guy's gone. So if you play the video, this guy sort of just disappears. And now what I'm going to do is turn this layer back on and I'm going to make this guy float away. Alright, so now I'm going to press P for position. And I'm going to actually Control Z. We're going to do something else. I'm going to go to the wiggle on this one. I'm going to hold Alt and click on position. The stopwatch, I'm going to type wiggle, and how many times do I want it to wiggle? Probably 1, and not very much, so maybe 10, and I'll see what that looks like. So he's wiggling a little bit, I guess, and let's change that number to 100. And I'm going to center the anchor point to this guy, so that he wiggles from himself and not the center of the screen. Alright, this clone stamp version I'm going to extend so I don't have that purple background. So what's going to happen now is this guy is going to start right around here, and I know you don't have the same exact time that I do unless you're doing this video file. So if you are doing this video file, this guy's going to wiggle around for about 1.5 seconds. So at 16 seconds, I'm just going to hit the stopwatch, and he's going to still wiggle, but now I can. Oh, this guy comes back, huh? All right, I'll take care of this layer underneath here in a second. But for now, I'm just going to work with this guy. Now I'm going to make sure, using the move tool, which is V, this guy is just going to kind of float away. And I'll show you how to angle after you've made a path those points, this guy's just gonna fly away to heaven. And remember, just like in the last video, you can click on these keyframes and you can move them, you can delete them, you can copy and paste them. So this guy just kind of flies away. All of a sudden. Alright, and now, excuse me, what I'm going to do is fix the fact that this guy comes back, because he should disappear right there. I only have him clone stamped out for the duration of what was originally there. So what I'm going to do is go back with page up until that guy disappears, and then I'm going to Control-Shift-D that layer, the clone stamp layer, and I'm just going to copy it. So Control-D. That didn't work, so what I'm going to try doing now is freeze frame it again. Freeze frame. Alright, so I don't want to have to do that again. So maybe what I do here is this. I just go to time remap, I hold Alt and click on the stopwatch and type loop out. And try that. See if that works. It did not. It did not. So I'm just going to copy it again, duplicate it, and see if I can get it to actually work. That is awful. Alright, what I'm going to do then in this case is duplicate this layer right here. I'm going to use the pen tool, which is G, and I'm just going to mask. I'm just going to mask this area on the duplicated clone stamp layer. You know what? This is a lot of wasted time. So what I'm going to do is just make this guy fly away a lot quicker. Now I could go back and figure out what in the heck is going on, but since I'm already recording, in order to save the video, I am just going to make sure that this video now ends rather at 16 seconds before this guy comes back in. So I'm going to take this is something new. I'm going to take this and drag it to the end of the animation, which would end right before everything messes up. And now I'm going to go to composition and trim comp to no, I'm just going to go ahead and render this. So this is something that I want you to do. Control K, let's say, take this to the end of the video, which is right there. So I'm going to go back one frame with page down, page up, and right here I have 16 seconds. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to press Control K, go to settings, and I'm going to change my duration to that exactly, so it ends right there. And in order to do the second part of the video, I am going to render this video. So you need to go to File, Export, Add to Render Queue, and I'm going to delete what I did as an example earlier. And I'm going to send this to the desktop and name this Fly Away. And I'm going to send it to the desktop, and I'm going to delete everything out of this project, and I'm going to bring that video back in so I can draw on it. So I'm going to render it now. So this might take a second. You can go ahead and skip ahead in the video. And I'm going to eat ramen noodles while this is going on. he goes. Ramen noodles are so good. Ooh, so good. And there he goes. He's off the screen. The progress bar is now done. Now I'm going to exit out of the render queue, go back here, and I'm going to select everything out of this, and I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete this video as well. I'm going to find where that video went, fly away. I'm going to drag it back in. There it is. Maximize the screen, drag it down to the project, check it out to see if it's still what I want. Comes in, howdy, flies away. Alright, now at the end, right when he starts to fly away, he splits in two. That's a glitch. So I'm going to go in here now, double click this layer right now, and this is where what we did the other day in class. I'm going to use the paintbrush and go frame by frame and just draw on this. And over here again, you can change the diameter of the brush that you have right here, the hardness of the brush right here, and the size of the brush, the angle of the brush, etc. So I'm just going to maybe give them you can click on paint and change the color too, so maybe purple here. Now he's going to glow away. Page down. I'll change the purple a little bit darker, a little less saturated. So what I want you to do in class, if you have the time, is to keep hitting page down and just draw on this guy and animate the brush until he's off the screen. So I'm going to and I know that's a lot of frames possibly, depending on what you did. So don't do something very intricate, just something basic like I'm doing, just going around really quick. I have one hand constantly on page down and I'm just clicking it, page down. And change the brush, you don't have to do this, I'm just doing it to see what it looks like. As he flies away, maybe I will draw some wings sprouting on his back. Page down, change the color again. Coming out, page down. He's flying away to go get some ramen noodles. Here comes the wings coming out a little more. Page down. He's really getting out of here. I'm going to hit page up so I can see where this starts to come out. Page down, it's coming out a little more. This is really going to grow out of him. Wings are starting to form. Page down. All the way around. The purple's turning into an indigo blue. Here comes the wings starting to come out now. Page down. Now more of a purple. Really quick around the edges. And here comes the wings. Page down. Now he's got blue. So in order to save the length of this video, I'm not going to go for every frame, but just do something quick so it's interesting. At this point you can see this guy starting to walk, and then he starts to float and get, here comes the wings, and then it's going to fly him away. I'll do one more. page up so I can see where the wings went. They're pretty far out from his back, so page up again. I'm going to go out even further and draw the wing this time. Just really coming out. And maybe you can start to see the other one too. Now this color is getting brighter. It's going more aqua blue. And his wing's going to start to move now. So it was straight out, and I'm going to make it go up. So starting to go up. Page down. Really go up. Now I'm going to change the color again, get a little bit of lime green, really saturated so it pops out. And I think this will be the last drawing I do before I hit pause on the video. And it's really coming up on this drawing. His wing's really going up in the air on the curve. The back wing is coming up. Now this ugly green. And then it's going to start going back down to purple. And then the wing's going to start going back down in rotation. Next one, it's going to be straight out. Now it's starting to go down. So the next one I'm going to make it, since I've only got a little more to do, I'm going to do the rest of this video. So it's going to seem long, but it's just because I'm drawing the entire time. So I guess I will change the color again and go here, go page up, and I'm really going to make the wings go down and be obvious. And then I'll make them go back up one last time before he gets off the screen if I can. Probably not going to be able to. And they're going to start coming back up. So right now they're this way, so they're going to start coming back up this way. Alright, where are they at now? Page down, up to go back and see. They're kind of this way. The next one's going to be straight out. Now they're going to start going back up, but probably not going to be able to see it. At this point, it's pretty easy to do. It's blending in a little bit with the leaves. There we go. So I'm going to exit out of this, go back to the main project, and this guy just flies away. Sprouts wings and flies away. Now the last thing I'm going to do is Control Y, add a solid color, make it black, and this thing's just going to fade out. There it is. So I'm going to press T for opacity, change the opacity to 0, turn on opacity, go to the end, and change the opacity to 100% so it fades in. I'm going to do the same thing at the beginning. So opacity starts here. I'm going to add a keyframe, change the opacity at the beginning to 100, and it's going to fade in. So that's what the video is today. Alright, so we freeze framed a little bit, we made a mask, we clone stamped, and then drew on the frames until that guy flew away. And also changed the color I did while he was drawn away to make it look like the color was animated as well. So that's it. Now what I want you to do is export this, add to render queue, make sure you name it your last name and module 4. This is a piece of cake, 50 points. Shouldn't take you longer than just one class period. And then render that, throw this in the L drive, and you're done.